if someone has a very good English pronunciation, we would like tease that as a joke, of course. But I think people keep that in mind still when they are fully grown up.
So you
Of
have the
course.
pressure to go well because the competitive system is very competitive, but also you have the pressure of being too good because you can get like picked on. Welcome, everybody, to a new exciting episode of the Connected by Language podcast, the only show that finds the most dedicated language learners out there and tries to learn for the craft. I'm your host, Michele, and I'm joined by my co host,
Michelle.
And for the people that are joining in for the first time, I think it would be a nice thing to do where we can give a little bit of an introduction of who we are, what languages do we speak, and what we're all about.
Yeah, so I'm from Germany, so I speak German, English, French, Spanish, and a little bit of Brazilian Portuguese.
Quite the stacked language library you got there.
Yeah, and that's also why I work as a language education specialist at Tandem.
And what is Tandem?
So Tandem is a language exchange app. You can use the app to find people from all over the world to exchange languages, either one-on-one or in groups, which we call language parties.
So the app features over 300 different languages, so no matter what type of objective you're looking for, whether somebody to strengthen your speaking skills with or somebody chill where you can just send memes in other languages, you will find always the best possible language exchange partner for you. And you might find someone inside the app like me. Hi, my name is Michele. I come from Italy. I speak Italian, French, English, a little bit of Japanese, and a little bit of German. And I'm just someone that loves to talk about different languages and to explore how languages have changed the life of people from the better. And today we're going to focus on a specific language. So today we're going to explore one of the most popular languages to learn nowadays, which is Korean, a language that for many years wasn't really treated with a lot of interest, but nowadays has been exploded in popularity. But not only we're going to explore the actual language in itself, we're more exploring what the differences in the teaching side of Korean has developed with time. So today we will have on the show somebody that has been teaching Korean for quite some time and as a language tutor also had to go through a very special type of adventure where the tutor became the tutoree or just the student. Let's just call it the student. So from the YouTube channel, Rafael, the Korean guy, welcome, Rafael.
Hello, nice to meet you. I'm Rafael, the Korean guy on YouTube.
I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory what kind of YouTube channel we're going to talk about. But welcome, Rafael, to the show, and we're very excited to know what your incredible adventure through languages has become, because your adventure is quite an interesting one that I think a lot of people would be very interested to learn more of. But before we get into the nitty gritty of it all, I think it would be nice to kind of give it, like we did at the beginning of the show, a little bit of a personal journey about yourself and what you're all about.
Well, I started teaching Korean in Korea, and wait, sorry.
Already have to a great
It's
start.
really
It's totally fine.
It's totally fine. We can get rid of all these times in the in the everything. Don't worry.
Mm-hmm. Where should I begin? Where should I begin?
Okay, like for example, like it would be
Yes.
very interesting to know if you were kind of like finding an inspiration, like a little bit about your childhood, like what was your relationship with the Korean language growing up inside the Korean education system.
Mm. Well, my relationship with the Korean language, I say it felt nothing really special for me because since I'm a native, I didn't really think about my own language. I was more interested in learning other languages like English and German. I remember it was 2021 when I first went to Czech Republic, and I lived there for a month to see my friend. And it was always a thing living in Czech Republic for a month for Korean people.
Oh.
Oh,
So, and it was around the COVID era, and I wanted to just go out to another country in such a hard time. So I went there and I met a lot of people who wanted to learn Korean and who were interested in learning Korean lyrics. They were mostly kind of K-pop. And that was when first season of Squid Game came out, so it was kind of huge. It was kind of huge, and that's when I thought, "Oh, maybe I can maybe I can be a little help for these, people who want to learn Korean." So, came back to Korea, and I prepared a little and started teaching Korean online.
Mhm.
So what is this relation between like Czech Republic and Korea? Like, why does every Korean person want to spend a month in Czech Republic?
Well, you guys are European, but as a as Asian people, we have we have this certain, maybe, fantasy, if I have to call it,
Okay.
towards European countries because, it's like historical buildings, the castles, everything's so beautiful. Uh, so it was quite a trend, in my memory to go to Czech Republic because, uh, Prague is beautiful.
Yes, the
And
cities are very beautiful.
also, usually, European countries, when we think of European countries, we think about like the big economically uh, economically big countries where uh, things are more expensive than in Korea, right? But comparatively, sorry, keep losing words.
Don't worry. Like I
Well,
would assume that, for example, like that, how like the Korean expenses kind of equate, or are they like even like lower than the Czech Republic? Like how do they compare?
well, I don't know how it is now, but back then, Czech Republic happened to be a slightly cheaper
Okay.
than Korea.
Mhm,
So it was it was a trend to, hey, let's explore Czech Republic, let's explore Europe. This is really
Mm.
beautiful. So I went there,
mhm.
and yeah.
The Czech Republic is known for being a very accessible country, also for people in Europe as well. Like a lot of European people have done at least one experience in Prague at their time, I would assume. I don't know about you, if you ever been.
Yeah, but it
Yeah.
was actually related to work.
Yeah, exactly. Like for
On
the
the
on the
yeah,
polyglot gathering,
exactly.
which it was not in Prague. It was in a different city called Brno. But
Yeah,
we
Brno,
also
yeah.
had an episode about Prague.
Yeah.
We had an older episode about the Czech Republic back in the day, so we kind of explored all the secrets of Prague itself. So it's a very, very nostalgic. But it's interesting to see that how it's viewed from a place like Korea,
Mhm,
which, in the grander scheme of things, at least from the perspective of the European, it's also seen as a very, I guess, competitive country when it comes to the education system. So I wanted to kind of, you mentioned that you were teaching people Korean as like, a student or like someone that was just meeting people there. But I wanted to more go to the, I guess, background of it all. Would like, what was it like growing up in a country like Korean, where the education system is admittedly pretty intense and competitive?
Well, it's quite a pressure actually, for a kid, usually teenagers. I think usually from teenagers, we have to go to after school called 학원. It's not a public school; it's a private school that specializes in just every subject:
Okay,
math, Korean, English, much more. Like even taekwondo could be private
that's sick.
after school, right? But I feel like that's like a healthy part. But if you go to hagwon uh, with a purpose of just mechanically learn everything to get a better score at school, it's quite a pressure. There's a lot of competition going on.
Mhm.
Yes,
Yeah,
but as a kid growing up there, obviously everyone's like me, so I didn't really realize, oh, that was so really difficult. We just found a joy in those hardships too.
Yeah, I would assume that in a place that has so many different like directions at the same time, like again, like you said, you could start from math to then English to then having, oh my God, I need my taekwondo lesson soon after like math or like after physics would be kind of crazy. But one thing that is interesting that you also mentioned that you were studying other languages, not necessarily just Korean and English. You mentioned something like German, if I'm not mistaken, right?
That's true.
Okay, so like, how did you end up choosing those languages? And what did experience did it give you? Because to me, if I were like a Korean student, I wouldn't think that German would be my top priority. Let's be completely honest. Like, no disrespect to German, beautiful language, beautiful language. Don't look at me like that, Michelle. It's a beautiful language. Sometimes.
But
But a Korean student
yeah.
wouldn't think of German as their first option. I would assume so. So I wanted to know more. What
Mm.
was your thought process?
Well, the reason behind I had to choose German to learn was because I went to this high school, which is like a baby of this the product of this competitive Korean education system,
Mm.
and I went to this high school called foreign language high school.
Ah, okay.
And you yeah, in a foreign language high school, you have to pick a major, and well, obviously, all of Korean parents, they are interested in their kid or themselves to learn English, not other languages, because it's just most popularly used language in Korea, the foreign language. So I applied for English major, but of course, too much competition. I didn't get in. So
Mm.
what's the second foreign language that I love to learn out of French, Japanese, uh, German? Actually, it's a long time ago. I don't know what other
Probably
majors
like Mandarin.
we
Probably would be in the inside, right? If it is anything like other like European, Mandarin should be also an option.
right, but I don't remember. Well, yeah, uh,
Yes.
yes, I guess we have that. But I thought German, it just felt it kind of stood out for me. I don't know why. It's like, yeah, feeling for German. So yeah, I chose German.
I saw the recall that you had. Like Michelle is like, oh, she's gonna say something better about German.
No, 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 no. I was waiting
No,
for the
no.
Ah,
reason.
okay. Because I was like, please don't say bad something about German. Please don't say something about German. No, okay. But that's again like, was it like you say again, like it stood up for you, but was it like something specific that stood out to you? Was it maybe like some portrayal on like how it's portrayed in other countries, or it's just like, you know, fuck it, we ball, I would say in our in our household.
Mm, I guess I don't really remember
Mm.
the reason I really picked German, but back in the day. But German in Korean is 독일어. So shortened, we just call it 독어.
Ah.
독. And that 독 kind of felt cool to me. That's
Okay.
kind of cool to me. Yes.
Just
Yeah.
a simple, like a simple, like a shortened
독일.
language,
Yeah.
very like impactful language, I'd
Uh-huh.
say. Maybe that's
Right.
because it would make a lot of difference towards like something that is more like melodic, like a French, that trails off all of the different words, while German is like very. It's a
How was it for all of you, like co-students, learning English? So we know that a lot of people in Korea learn English and study English, but they don't end up speaking English, not all of them, very well. So from your perspective, why do you think that is?
The reason why I think a lot of Korean people are not fluent in English, yet
Yeah.
they are eager to learn English.
oh. Mhm.
Yeah, so they're eager to learn it, but they don't get
Yeah,
fluent.
like at the high level, you don't really see that much progress, or it's not as like high level as you think you are. Like
Mm,
there's at least that there's a lot of places have their own reasons. Sometimes it's like their education system. So we would like to learn more about why this could also be applied for Korea.
mm. Uh, well, first, I can think of two biggest reasons. The first reason would be the environment set for people to speak English.
Mhm.
It's not really good. There's not many situation environment where you can use English, the one that you learned. A lot of people learn it. A lot of us can read, write, and listen and understand English, but taking that out from your mouth, that's a challenge. Everyone's Korean is quite a homogenous society still. There's a lot of tourists or non-Koreans living in Korea, but still, it's quite a homogeneous society. Everyone's friend with Korean. Uh, it's really rare for someone to have a foreign friend, I
Mm.
think. Still, and the second reason is people are quite shy. We Koreans are quite shy people. We are shy and not in a not in a way how like we're introverted or extroverted. We just have this culture called 눈치, which is we have to take care of how other people see us, how I'm seen to other people. So we tend to be really careful, and especially when it comes to speaking English, it might be seen as some how do you say? What's the opposite word for humble? Like bragging,
Oh,
right?
Bragging.
braggadocious. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it may be like everyone speaks Korean, but I'm here speaking a very fluent English. Maybe people are yeah oppressed. There's like a peer pressure, and also uh, from from when I was a baby kid, all of my friends, just including me too, if someone has a very good English pronunciation, we would like tease that.
Wow.
"Ooh, you
So
have a buttery English accent," and as a joke, of course. But I think people keep that in mind still when they are fully grown up.
So, do you mean that even if people were like really good at English, they would actively hold back to not be like teased by others or to not
In
be
my
bragging?
experience, yes, a lot of the
Mhm.
times.
Wow.
So you
Of
have the
course,
pressure to go well because the competitive system is very competitive, but also you have the pressure of being too good because you can get like picked on. I think that this is a
yeah.
very, very difficult area. It's like a very narrow level. That's interesting. That's interesting to know because we have people on the show coming in where like they did they went out of their way to find their own like English speaking community, and they kind of like ignored the pressures from outside. They kind of like went in, they kind of risked it all. So it's interesting to see like that not every place has that sort of determination. Sometimes there are places where it can kind of make things more homogenized.
Mhm.
Yes, you really should like it's I think it's a East Asian culture,
Hmm.
just standing out. Mm, we don't want that. And so few people will do that, and those people will be seen as like cool people because they overcame all that pressure, social pressure of uh
Hmm.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
telling
interesting.
someone off who's standing out.
And despite Korean being like a homogenized society, it's actually been quite standing out in the rest of the world because nowadays everybody wants to learn Korean. At least it's one of the most learned languages, at least in the last few couple of years. So, like, it's Korean in the past was kind of like a niche that was not explored as much, but nowadays it's learned from people all over the world. So, like, from your perspective as a native speaker of the Korean language, and also as a tutor that has taught people the language, what do you think is driving this popularity?
Mm, well, I think Korean contents uh has been there for many, many years, of course, but I think only currently just like a social media algorithm, I think Korean contents got algorithm now, and good Korean contents are getting more views, and of course, it's shared to more people. Mm. And not only people who are interested in Korean like specific uh, content, like I'm fan of K-pop, I'm fan of K-drama. Now is more popularized and uh, more people are
Yeah, like are attaching themselves into like Korean culture. But it's interesting because it would be pretty cool to know, or at least to have a little bit of insights on like maybe a theory. It's not even supposed to
Mm,
be like the correct answer, but why specifically Korean content has been so like popular over the years? Because like Korean content or like songs and movies and dramas and stuff always existed, right? Or are they like
right,
a relatively new form of media? I would say that they existed for quite some time, right?
right, all
Yeah.
the time. But
And it would make sense, like, why specifically, maybe there's something about the language, as you are a tutor, maybe something about the language that is particularly interesting that maybe resonates with people.
mm, I always ask I always ask my students, "Why are you learning Korean? Why did you come to me?" And 8 times out of 10, usually they say the language sounds beautiful, but
Okay.
I cannot judge that because I'm just born with my language. I never thought about how my language sounds like. So, I guess it sounds good to a lot of people. I don't know.
I, I I can tell, even though I don't speak Korean at all, and I'm not as like like I'm studying Japanese and Korean are very different languages. But one thing that I listen when I listen, sorry. One thing that I notice when listening to Korean as a foreigner that has no idea what the language is about, and we'll talk about more about that soon, is that it's a very unique musicality compared to a lot of different languages. It's like the actual rhythm of the tones, or like the way that the accent, the way that our sentences are ended. It's very unique, and I think that could be
Mm,
like an element that kind of applies to people wanting to learn it, because it's unique, it's different, it's not re attachable to other languages. Also, its writing system is different, so it's a very unique challenge that a lot of people kind of find mystery in. I think if I were to give a theory, but that's just me.
And
well,
actually, oh, sorry.
sorry.
No, like it fits to our next question. Like, what is your experience with people who want to learn Korean coming to you, and what they think it is like the language?
Mm, how they expect the journey would turn out?
Yeah.
Yeah, like maybe they have an expectation coming in, and then they're like, and then you give them the hard truth that is completely different, or like
Mm,
be very cool to have the that insight.
well, thankfully, when you look up, I'm sure you guys all know, but the top 10 hardest languages to learn,
Mhm.
there's always Korean, those East Asian countries,
Yeah,
China, Chinese, Mandarin, Japanese, Korean. They're always on the list.
yeah,
Maybe not the top 5, but within the top 10.
yeah.
So thankfully, a lot of students are aware of that already. So they
Okay.
come very like readily.
Oh, okay.
And it's my theory, but I think usually people who are interested in Korean contents, they are also interested in Japanese contents
Mm,
or Chinese contents or some other Asian contents as well. They don't. It doesn't feel like they only enjoy the Korean media. So, out of all those Asian languages they want to learn, I think they I think they look it up, like what's the most difficult one to learn, what's the easiest one to learn. I think since Korean has like the Korean alphabet system
mhm.
called Hangul, it's not like characters like Chinese.
Yeah.
We just have consonants, vowels, and boom, you can read it. So I think that lowers the hurdle a lot, and that's why people come to learn Korean.
Interesting to see that because, again, we're very used to seeing a lot of East Asian languages having their own very different way to categorize their like basics. You know, like the writing system of Japanese. There's three of them, and they're all made of a syllabus instead of like actual just letters. You know, you have the Chinese and all the characters that you have to remember. And Gen Korean is like, oh, that not that it's just an alphabet. It just looks different because it's a different writing system, but it's interesting to see. Eh, But that kind of makes me wonder. Someone like your students already come in and they already think, okay, Korean is going to be a little bit difficult. It's going to be easier than Mandarin, but it's still like a tough language. But like, what do learners tend to find harder than expected, like that they expect, and what surprises them in the other direction? Maybe like surprisingly easy, for example.
Mm. Uh, I think the difficult part in Korean language is not the reading, pronunciation, maybe for some people, but those numerous grammar topics you have to learn. And when they realize that, and when they realize some grammatical element that doesn't exist in other countries, I think, when they see that, they really find it hard to fully understand what they're for, how to use them correctly, and they the other direction, mm,
Maybe also could be nothing. It's like
Hard to say.
everything is mega
yeah, yeah,
hard all the time.
that's true. I think it's like quite a Korean is quite mechanical, logical, and simple language to learn, I think, to me, because everything makes sense if you understand it. And when you build sentences, it builds like Lego blocks. You just attach this, that, maybe just like many other languages. But uh, when people realize that, I think they find joy. I think they enjoy
it's
learning.
it's like satisfying just taking all of these rules and putting them together. Like it's not there. There's no like permutations of single words that changes in certain situations, or like a structure that can basically have any form. It's like a very mechanical, very structured. Like maybe it's a language that doesn't have a lot of exceptions. Like there's a lot of rules and very very few ways to break out of them, right? If I would assume at least.
Mm, well, it's a very heavily nuanced language.
Yeah.
I think the term is
Ah.
high context language.
Yes. Yes.
Uh, so one thing can be mm, how do I put it? Sorry, I just
No worries.
need some time to think. Uh,
Maybe if we take an example here, like when you talk to different groups of people, how do you address them? Like how do you teach that to your students? Like somebody who has never lived in such a situation in such a high context culture, how do
mm,
you treat that and how do you make them feel it?
mm, well, like in Korea, we can never give you like how do you say this in Korean? And I can never give you a one thing, one fixed answer because we need to know because it's a high context language. In which situation are you talking, and who are you talking to? Everything matters, but everything is mechanically. Uh, the rules exist. The rules exist, and the problem is you have to remember all of those little rules, tiny rules. For example, in English, maybe, mm, like, "What are you doing here? What are you doing here?" And in English, I have to kinda change my intonation or accent to deliver what I'm actually
Mm.
like intending. But in Korean, we have a grammar for what are you doing? Just a regular general question, or what are you doing? Something that focuses on you doing. I see what you're doing, but like, what the hell are you doing? Uh, every sentence is different. That's the
It's
difficult part.
it's
Yes.
interesting because in the English language, there's a very famous word. It's like, I didn't know she stole the money, where if you put an intonation of every
Mm,
single part of the sentence, it is a completely different like situation. If I'm like, I didn't know she knew she stole the money, or I didn't know she stole the money, it's like kind of different
mm,
connotations, but it's still like grammatically the same language. So for what you're trying to say, maybe, is that if you wanted to give a different focus on different parts of the sentence, instead of just having a different intonation, you have to change completely the structure of the sentence. Is that correct?
not really the
Ah,
structure, but you have to attach a certain element,
aha.
or that's why just from a written text we can feel that nuance.
Hmm.
Like,
Okay, that's interesting. I don't think a lot of other languages have that. There are
mm,
like there's the classic formal speak and informal speak, but having so many different like attachments to specific parts of the sentence can be quite different, I would say.
And do you have any trick, like how people can learn it? Like, do you have anything that
any
helps them?
any way that helps people learn. Actually, they need to be exposed to a lot
Hmm.
of media.
Yeah.
I think they have to listen a lot. They have to watch a lot of stuff, because just simply all those stuff on textbook, it is important to learn them, but I don't think it'll fully internalized just from the text. You have to get that nuance from actual examples.
Yeah.
So I try to provide them as much examples as I can, and show them how I read it, or how I would say it.
Interesting. Not every language is that good at presenting like real life applications or like with media. Sometimes media can be quite difficult to approach. Like,
Mm,
like Italian, for example, as a language, it's like, yeah, you can learn it, of course, through media, through movies, but it's so regional, so dialectic that it's pretty difficult to take like a long lasting, how do you say, like knowledge out of them. It's like
mm,
it's a lot more useful if you already know the language and you're trying to get the cultural differences, but not the actual structure. So it's interesting to see at least that Korea, at least in your mind, can give that sort of support when it comes to learning about these nuances of the languages through their media. It may sound like every single country does it, but that's not true. It's not true.
mm. Not in Italy.
No, I wouldn't say so in Italy. I
Mm,
mean, of course, there are like like items that are more meant for actual learning the language. Don't get me wrong. Okay, if you look at your children's cartoons, they're gonna be a lot more useful for children to learn their languages. But I feel like the cultural impact of Italy as a media, it's not known for the accessibility to learning the language. It is more about
mm.
the diversity of the language of Italian, which is different. It's
Oh,
very different.
I think that's very good. Respecting all the regional dialects and stuff on media. I think that's I think that's very good.
Yeah, I mean that's everybody has their own access to it. But I wanted to ask you because like all of the main thing that is like as a big part of this, of your experience is that you are a native speaker. So of course, like your approach to learning a language like Korean and compared to somebody that comes to you for lessons, it's gonna be very different. But tutoring can be, at least in my opinion, I don't know if you share my opinion, Michelle, it can teach you a lot about your own language sometimes.
Definitely.
So what I wanted to ask you, like, what has tutoring Korean taught you about the language itself that maybe you never would have thought about it if you were just speaking it as a native?
Mm, since I've been just speaking this language so naturally for many, many years, right? Since I was born, I never really realized that my language was such a delicate language. Uh, no other language like this. Maybe something grammatically similar one is Japanese, and probably what Japanese learner find difficult to learn also applies to Korean learners as well. But I never realized all of these could be s- in so much detail. As I told you, the nuance, the tone, intonation, outside of actual speaking, we just have that grammatical rule uh,
Mm,
we can apply that changes the whole nuance and meanings. So I thought that was very interesting. And the more I teach, to teach, I have to learn too. So more I learn, yeah, just
yeah,
That's fine.
feels
I
very
mean,
organized. Yeah,
the
it
answers
just
the
feels
question.
organized.
yeah. And it's interesting because I mean, I used to, like, I'm learning on and off. Let's call it that. On and off. I'm learning Japanese,
Mm,
and from the thing that you're saying, the elements about delicate languages, it's a very interesting keyword that I never thought of.
mm,
Now, Japanese and Korean probably have differences. uh, they obviously have differences. I don't know anything about Korean, so that's the issue here. I cannot really compare. But
mm,
in general, like the idea of, like, one small thing can change the entire sentence. It's something that it's very difficult to grasp as a foreigner, I think.
Mhm.
Do-
Um,
have you learned the particles?
yeah, no,
The Japanese have particles
yeah,
like uh, what was it? Um,
yeah, like you have no for like possessive, ga for subject. You have
yeah,
other ones that I
watashi
kind of
wa
forgot about. I
right,
haven't done a test in December. Sorry, I'm gonna count this
like
like that, but
Yeah.
ore wa, like watashi
yeah,
wa, like those,
watashi wa.
like yeah, those stuff. We have that too,
Oh,
and
okay.
I guess that's the most basic but difficult part. But
In,
because of that, I think uh, the structure, the the order of the sentence, subject, object, verb. Obviously, there's a natural way to put, but even if they're mixed up, you can still recognize, from this particle, I can see that this is used as subject, this is used
Mhm.
as object, stuff like that. So,
Yeah, like because in European languages that doesn't really happen all that much, at least when it comes to some part. Like you can just see the ending of a word and be like, oh yeah, that's the subject, even though it's not in the
uh,
right position. I mean, you could do that with verbs most of the time. I think verbs are the only ones where you could sort of do that, but verbs have like multiple different versions and they have exceptions. And this is not a Java German, by the way. It's a German and Italian as well. So, sorry. I know
All
you would.
good.
I'm sorry for teasing you about the language. But in general, yeah, it is definitely a lot more mechanical because when I can look at at least in Japanese, I can look at the little wa items and like, okay, I don't need to know more about this sentence. I know that that part is the theme of the sentence, and that makes it breaking it down a lot easier. That's the great thing about at least Japanese and probably Korean as well, since you mentioned that they have the same
right,
system. Is that
right.
it's very easy to break sentences down. What they mean, yeah, no, that's a whole different thing. But to break down what part of section does what when it's writing, it's, I'd say, relatively doable. It's doable.
And breaking down is a good word for breaking down this topic of learning Korean.
Amazing transition. Lovely
Yes.
transition. Phenomenal.
Because we have one more topic that is about you not living in Korea, but actually in Spain. So it would be super interesting for us to know, like, what was going on in your mind in the moment you realized you were going to move to Spain, and also what you thought about the language.
Mm. I decided to move to Spain because I met my current partner in Korea, and well, her visa was expiring, so she had to go back, but we didn't want to separate. So, what if, okay, I teach my job is just teaching Korean online. I can just do this anywhere. So why don't I just go with her? So that's when I decided to first move to Spain, and it really hit me when I was just preparing for all that documents. Um, yeah, that's when it hit me.
Yeah, it is very bold for like a change like that to just like completely go to a place that you've presumably never been before. Especially, again, you didn't even learn. For what I gather, you didn't even learn any Latin language before coming here because you did German, and German is not Latin based.
Mm.
So it's very interesting to see that you managed to take this very bold stance, and that's one of the great advantages of languages. Languages are about speaking, but thanks to technology of these days, you can find somebody that can teach you a language, or find somebody that can give you that the exercise anywhere in the world. You don't need to go to a school, or I mean, you can. It's not like you don't want to, but it's like there's always an option for online people to give their 2 cents about the language and to make you connect with people by language. That's the name of the show. Remember, guys? It's called Connect by Language. But it's very heartwarming at first, but also it's a very big, difficult step because there's a little bit of an issue there. You're in Spain now, and I don't know if you know, but Spain is not necessarily known for their highest level of English learning percent. So you would probably have to do something about the language of Spanish, right? So what did you decide to do about the language of Spanish when you got there?
Mm.
What was your plan?
Well, for before moving here, for 1 year, I've been learning Spanish through the Greenbird app, and I thought, oh well, I can introduce myself now. I can order coffee, and if I can order coffee, that's enough. So, and the rest, very arrogantly, I thought, well, just by living in Spain would naturally enhance my Spanish, but which wasn't true. You have to
No.
sit on the desk and like you have to actually actively study, right? Uh, so I decided to just, well, my partner's Spanish, and I'm just surrounded by Spaniards. Is going to is going to go well. But I didn't know because I didn't do a lot of research before moving. Uh, we lived in Barcelona for a year and a half, the first year and a half, and I didn't know uh, they spoke different language, Catalan.
Yep. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
so,
Welcome to Spain.
so all the little words, the street signs that I'm used to, changed when I moved to Madrid now. So I had to relearn everything, but still, I think it's fun. All of these new things, those are fun.
So it would be interesting to know, like, what is now your approach now that you got a little bit of time to
Yes.
explore the language. Like, you have, at least we will probably have a little bit of an extra plan. So can you tell us a little bit what's your current approach?
Well, my current approach, uh, just until now, I went to AOE, Oficial Idioma. I think it's a public language school run by the Madrid city, and they have a very structured classes and very good. But also, I thought, wait, sorry,
Yeah, go.
what am I talking about? Mm,
Talking about your idioma de Escuela de Idiomas in Madrid and your structured
yeah,
course.
how it's structured.
Yeah.
So I experienced that, which gave me a little wrong confidence. Oh, I can do this outside of the escuela.
Ah.
so so I decided not to continue on the next level, but to
Oh.
study on my own. But just like everything's a journey. It's not just language learning,
Mhm.
just my decision, my thought process, everything lifestyle. So it goes on like that. I'm still learning with the book. and I'm trying to use what I learned from the book every day to my partner or people I encounter on the street.
Yeah.
But it feels like that's not enough. So recently, what I discovered is when when I was learning English, when I was a kid, it wasn't to learn English, but I had a very heavy interest in hip hop music, the rap music.
Okay.
So I would just print out rap songs, song lyrics in English, and I would just like I just enjoyed the process of, oh, I can rap now, you know? And I forgot about that feeling for a long time. And recently I started listening to this playlist called classic Spanish hit songs. So
Okay.
classic Spanish music from the 50s, 60s to like 2000, I think. And just listening to those music, it's really fun and it makes me sing along too.
Oh.
So the textbook grammar stuff I want to learn from a book and oh, those lyrics, the the expressions, the natural expressions that are used in song lyrics. That's I'm trying to learn from the songs
Yeah.
because it genuinely interests me.
It's interesting to see because this is not the first time that the Spanish language has been used as a musical exercise. We've been seeing quite some times for the Latin American side, but also the European side, and it's very interesting to see because it, I'm gonna keep referencing my dear country of Italy. I'm sorry, but
Mhm.
it's the only thing that I know, man. Can't do much more about it. It's just that Italian music, to me at least, again, it's like it is not as accessible when it comes to learning the actual language. It's interesting to see that not only you manage to get, your enjoyment about music because music is awesome. We all love music, but also getting that little nugget of information about the language because it's not, it's not, like one to one for every language. So it's awesome to see. But the great thing about being inside, in your situation is that you have your school, you have your books, you have your music, you have your partner, and you have now living in the city of Madrid. So you have a very very not isolated. What's the word? What's the word?
Immersive.
Immersive. Thank you. Thank you. A very immersive environment. And I think that's something that, at the end of the day, is what a lot of language learners recommend when it comes to learning a language. Like, if you could, of course, not everybody can immerse themselves 24/7 in the language, but it is a very beautiful, beautiful system. So, even though it's like little parts are scattered here and there, as a whole, you have a very, very formidable immersion system. So, congratulations on that.
Thank you. It's just uh, I'm very lucky that I'm learning Spanish while I'm living in Spain. This is not many people can have this. I understand. But what I also didn't realize before moving here was my job is teaching online, which I do indoor at home. So there's not many social interaction.
Yeah.
Uh, so maybe that's why I didn't feel the motive strongly. And but just recently, I just found this incredible joy in listening and singing along Spanish music. So I hope that makes me go out, maybe go clubbing and sing along with people.
I
Who
mean,
knows?
at the
Yeah.
end of the day, if you can communicate with people clubbing in Spanish, isn't that like what the real part of the language is? It's like there has to be a point where if you can
That's
communicate.
your one and only goal.
Yeah,
Go clubbing
I
and
don't say
meet
it's the
people.
only goal, but like if you can communicate with them and have fun, isn't that
Mm,
like an actual objective, right? Like you're not there to specifically go to a company and get like a full-time job as a Spanish translator. So living life as a Spanish speaker, that's definitely an objective. I think a pretty also realistic objective to go forward.
Mhm.
right, right. And also, just more and more as I study and learn. the more and more how I start to understand my Spanish family's conversation. At first, it didn't much sound like a, when you're first learning a language, it doesn't sound like a language. It just sounds like a noise, right?
Yeah.
Like a blah, 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 blah. It sounds like that, but more and more when you understand the language, when you catch words, and right now I'm at the state, I think, uh, I can kind of follow, oh, they're talking about this. So
Mm,
Mm.
that is bringing me like incredible joy
yeah.
in learning, I think.
And
Just having to, yeah, just understanding people.
did you also experience anything like you as a teacher and you as a learner? Like you have these two sides now.
Mm.
Um, since you started learning Spanish, did you experience anything that could have helped you with the teaching side? Something that you just wouldn't have noticed or learned from the other side?
Mm, like something that I realized, uh,
Because you also studied a language, not only taught one, but
right.
also at the same time studied one.
Mm. I'm just realizing the importance of structure in learning language, but on top of that, finding joy. Finding joy. I understand that a lot of people are learning language, not just like us, but as an obligation because maybe their company made them learn English, or you just have to learn it. Uh, just like how I first moved here, I have to learn Spanish to live in Spain, right? Uh, but that gives you burnout pretty quickly, and just finding joy in little things as you're learning. Oh, I'm starting to understand these people. Oh, uh, singing along Spanish song. Uh, I never imagined I could do that.
Mhm.
Like all that little thing, uh, that'll just automatically make you sit down and study, right?
Mhm.
Because it's a fun activity now. So I think that that is the most important thing. And when I teach, I only recently realized that. So when I teach, I try to at least make it a little bit more fun than
Mhm.
mechanical like learning.
Yeah. And it's interesting because
Yeah.
I was in the same situation when it comes to French myself. I was in France. I was like, just so happened to be in France. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I actually have to learn the language.
Mm,
So, um, and it was difficult for me at the beginning because like I was just doing it for survival. I was trying to get as much as possible. I was doing as much exercise as possible. I was getting burned out pretty easily. But then you find that you tend to find joy in the most random places. Like, for example, in my case, arguing with people on the phone.
Wow.
Hell yeah. Hell
with
yeah.
English
Arguing
people.
arguing with people on the phone like the postman, or receiving
Right.
a spam call and be like, I don't know what you're talking about, you have to ask somebody else, and they like,
Mm,
yes, I understand, I will not call you anymore. That type, it sounds
mm.
crazy, but imagine like that caller from the other side does not know that I have started learning French only 4 months ago.
Oh,
So
so you
these
love something that makes your heart beat like boom, boom.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's nerve wracking. It's nerve wracking, but then
Right.
they leave you alone and it actually works and you feel like I did it. I can
Mm.
complain like a true native.
Right. When the language you learn and acquire, when it works, it's really fun,
It's
right?
really fun. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it's really fun.
So actually next activity for you is not going clubbing but
No.
but arguing on the phone.
I'm gonna argue with the IKEA guy that stopped this truck in front of my house and created a
Mm.
big traffic jam, and they blame me for it because I mean, yes, I did order the table, so I did order, but it's not my fault. You parked in front of the road, in front of the house. There's an entire street that you could do. There's a parking lot. Please go there. Sorry,
Okay.
sorry,
Woo.
sorry, sorry. I needed to get that off my chest before we go to the last question of the episode.
Right.
It's
So
getting heated in here.
let me like the Spanish sun, the heat off. Like I need to. Whew. get a little bit of my thoughts off on this podcast. But
Yeah.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
Understand.
So we've been through quite an interesting journey, as a teacher, now become the student, and now can create this symbiotic relationship between teaching people and being the student. But for someone that feels like they're stuck in the language learning and cannot find a way through, like they cannot find a way to improve themselves or find a way to get their passion for languages, what would you tell them?
Well, it would be a repeat of the previous answer, but
Yep.
again, I would I would encourage them to find what really motivates them.
Yeah.
Just find the meaning, uh, why you're learning this language. Uh, I think if it's specific, good. Uh, one of my student, one of my students, well, she was a huge fan of BTS, who's a K-pop uh, group, and one of the member went to the military. Well, now that everyone's out, but before they were out, you know, K-pop idols, singers, usually the male ones, they go to the military, and when they're is it called discharged?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
isn't this charge like worse? But like,
Is it like
I
from
mean,
prison?
I don't know. I don't know what the difference in discharge and like off service or something. I don't know. I'm not an
Translate
expert
in
in
English.
military talk, but yeah, they finish their
Yeah,
service,
yeah.
their
When they
mandatory
finish the
service.
service, when they finish
Yeah.
the service, they usually do an interview. Uh, and her motive was, I want I want to understand what he will say when he get out of the military, and that's very specific and very good motivation, right?
Yeah.
And for me, I want to ultimately communicate with all my Spanish family members in Spanish, not having to make them use easy baby Spanish words or having them to mix up like English words. I just want to be part of this like community now, and that feeling is growing stronger and stronger. So try find joy, try find meaning, and also just uh, put yourself in the environment, right?
Yeah.
That's a good thing. My phone setting is in Spanish,
Hmm.
and also when I go to well, it's something too personal or private, but when I go to the toilet, I put on the Tandem. I don't like actually actively like use it, but I put on that. I find a party. In the social feature, I just find a party that speaks Spanish and just like put it on and just listen to what people say. Uh, I'm not confident enough because I'm a shy Korean, so I'm not confident enough to join the chat and, like, start talking there, but I've been doing that, just listen to people
It really
saying
makes you think.
yeah, just, like, keep that environment. That's
Hell yeah!
yeah.
Hell yeah!
Even in your 5 minutes on the toilet.
5 minutes.
You think it's gonna be 5 minutes?
You think? Yeah, you're right. It's not gonna be 5 minutes with a language party.
Okay,
Yeah.
cut this out.
I'm not cutting this out.
Right, right.
Okay,
That's a
well,
phenomenal way to sorry, we need some time
And
to
yeah,
recover from this.
honestly
But no, that's a
mhm,
great way. Every part of your day, it's all about learning Spanish. No
yeah, yeah.
matter what.
Yeah,
Yes, brother.
and
Preach.
from here, I have this new goal. Next time, I'm going to join and talk, not just
While
listen,
you're in
right?
the toilet, please don't tell me that while you're in the toilet doing that.
Uh, I'll mute when I make a noise, but uh, outside of that, completely fine.
Okay.
okay.
That's phenomenal. We'll
Yeah,
take notes.
definitely. Next time I'm telling somebody what I'm doing at Tandem, working with language parties, all these people on their toilets talking
Mm,
to me wherever they
probably
are in the world.
already everyone's doing that.
Probably already happens. Maybe you don't
Uh,
realize it.
Just didn't know.
It's time to do some surveys,
Yeah.
to ask some questions.
How
Right.
many of you have used the
Mhm.
service?
You'll be surprised by the answers. But
Which situation do you use Tandem like social media? So it's like,
I mean, I think that would be a great way to use it.
mm,
Probably, yeah.
Oh man, that's sorry. I can't even. I can't put my lips. Sorry, but my cheeks are starting to hurt. But with that very interesting piece of knowledge, thank you so much, Rafael, for joining this episode of the Connected by Language podcast.
de nada.
De nada, de nada.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Yeah, nice. I know what that means. But in general, if people wanted to learn more about your teachings or wanted to connect with you, are there some sort of like projects you're working on or channels that you're managing? All of them will be linked in the description.
Oh, well, I'm always open to receiving new students, and the link to book the lesson will be on my YouTube, any of my social media channel bio. So please visit.
Yeah, I will put all of the social content in the description. So I would really recommend if you're interested in learning how the life of how living in Spain is, or if you wanted to get some nice little Korean lessons. But with that, thank you so much for watching this episode of the Connected by Language podcast. I hope you learned something nice about today, about the wonders of the Korean language, or how easy/difficult it is to take a big step and getting into a place that you don't know much of. And who knows who else is going to come through with their own language story. But for now, if you enjoyed the episode, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, or follow us if you're watching from Spotify or other podcasting place. And for the moment, I've been your host, Michele. I've been joined by my co-host.
Michelle.
And who knows who else is going to come here with their crazy language stories.
Yes.
I'm very excited, but for the moment, thank you again so much. And I guess we'll see you on the next episode.